change the way you look at talent. End of the day, if people return back to a workplace where there is full of stress, poor leadership and no respect at all, I mean, there'll be an immediate disconnect. Employees have become brand ambassadors. They will stay at places where they feel valued and respected.
I'm here with Chethana Liyanage, who has spent her years in the world of talent and people strategy over at Capital Maharaja Group. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Suhela Ralik, and today's conversation is actually one that I've genuinely been looking forward to. I'm here with Chethana Liyanage, who has spent her years in the world of talent and people strategy over at Capital Maharaja Group, basically figuring out how to find good people, how to keep them, and also how to help them grow. So, we are going to get into the real messy stuff about work today, why people ghost jobs, and why culture often looks better on career sites than it actually looks on the first day of work, and also what AI is actually doing in amidst of all of this, and also the tiny slip-ups that leaders actually tend to make here and there. So I would say grab your cup of coffee, or if you're like a tea person like me, you can do that. And let's just settle in. So Chetana, it's really nice to have you with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So let's get into it. What's one major shift that's happening right now that you see that leaders seem to sort of underestimate or don't really seem to understand?
Well, one of the major shift is the changing psychological contract between employees and employers. Because in the past, if you look, talent often stayed for job security and career progression. But today, it's not the case. Employees expect more things like purpose, sense of belongingness, meaningful work, a lot of things at the beginning. And what managers or organizations underestimate is how fundamentally this has changed the relationship between employers and employees. Because now today employment is no longer viewed as a long-term commitment based on compensation and stability, because the talent ecosystem has evolved dramatically, and it is highly focusing on creating meaningful employee experiences and creating workplaces where people feel valued, respected, and connected to the organization. So it's a kind of a challenge for all the leaders, and I think many organizations, they have recognized this change of expectations, but still there are some places or there are some organizations where they, I mean, perceive these as standalone HR initiatives rather than perceiving these as critical business drivers. Because what happens is, when it comes to creating these meaningful employee relationships or meaningful employee experiences, sometimes you must have seen some of the organizations, they have a lot of employee engagement activities, wellness programs, onboarding sessions, like even mindfulness sessions. But end of the day, if people return back to a workplace where there is full of stress, poor leadership and no respect at all, I don't think that people will, I mean, there'll be an immediate disconnect. And I don't think that people will experience the culture through a one-day wellness program. Because leaders will have to ensure that these initiatives are authentic and embedded to the culture of the organization. Because the real challenge here today is not to, I mean, to a certain extent, yes, you'll have to attract good talent, but retaining the talent who choose to stay with the organization, that is the real challenge today.
Yes, okay. That's actually a really good frame to start with. We'll probably like come back to that as we go through. There's a growing trend of candidates accepting offers and then sort of disappearing midway through the hiring process, right? Or they either join the workplace and then they quit after a couple of weeks. So from what you're seeing right now in Sri Lanka, what really is driving this? And what does it reveal about how organizations are currently attracting talent?
So, Hela, this is a very common issue, like what many organizations call candidate boosting or job hopping. It's a deeper kind of a reflection about how employer and employee relationship has got changed. It's not a kind of a simply a Gen Z issue. That's how I see it. And it's a market reality and culture shift. And today, I guess that all the candidates, they have a lot of job opportunities, because in a way, this is a trust issue as well with the organization. Because some of the organizations, when it comes to their recruitment process, that is built for, yesterday's workforce, and there are a lot of delays. So if there are, if there is no, follow-ups from the organization side, sometimes they will find another job, and even without explaining. And when it comes to employment for younger generation, it's a value exchange for them. They always ask questions like, will I be able to grow here? Will my manager support me, or will that be a kind of a toxic situation for me? And will I have peace of mind? So those are the burning issues they have. So during the initial interview process, if they feel that whatever the responses are unclear, so they will quickly, disengage with the organization. And when it comes to, sometimes some of the employees, they will, or the candidates, they will accept the offer, thinking that the salary or the package is attractive. But later, when they see the reviews about the organization, and when they speak to their colleagues, if they get to know that culture is not worth of, joining this organization, they will quickly disengage. Even after joining, what I have seen is sometimes during the onboarding process, some employees, they feel like, okay, there is a disconnect, because they get a kind of a reality shock. Sometimes they expect more, and when they join, no onboarding buddy, the manager is not prepared to guide the staff members, and they feel that it's micromanaging is there. So moment that they experience this sort of a culture, they will quickly disengage. And today, of course, culture plays a vital role here, because now, unlike, previous 10, 15 or 10, 15 years ago, mostly the culture is something that you will have to join the organization and experience it. But today, with the advancements of these digital platforms, employees or candidates can review all these sort of things, like even before joining the organization. Now, I experience this every day. Like I get a lot of LinkedIn messages to Facebook, messages asking about the job opportunities. Sometimes they send us CVs, because irrespective of the designation, now even the candidates can, reach out to the manager or the director of that particular organization. And sometimes they make a kind of a connection as well, just to ask about the organization. Now, sometimes I get messages saying that I have applied to this position at your organization, and what do you think about, what should I do? Like, I'm so and so's sister or brother. In my case, sometimes they might say that I'm a huge fan of yours. So they will connect like that, because you have a lot of social media platforms to get connected to the people who are heading certain operations. So because of this, now the culture has become highly transparent. It's, earlier, I guess that organizations, they had some sort of control against about the culture of the organization, how they should, there were some limitations. But it's highly transparent now. People can check the LinkedIn post to TikTok culture post, and all that can be checked, verified with, even I have seen some of the people, they just write to someone, they are not connected, they don't know each other, but still they will drop a message and ask, how is your, company culture there? That's how they get connected, and now employees have become brand ambassadors, knowingly or unknowingly. And even these messages are not official messages. Those are personal messages that they send. So this is the situation now. So employees or the candidates, they can review the organization before joining the organization. So that has a huge impact on their employment decision. So that's how I see this issue. But now most of the people say that Gen Z employees or candidates are, they are impatient, or they are disloyal and difficult to retain. I think the real issue is with the expectations of the employees. So I don't think that employees will just, the younger generation will just stay, or just because they are employed. They will stay at places where they feel valued and respected, and where they can achieve their ultimate employment targets as well.
Yeah, that's completely true. I completely agree with that. That makes a lot of sense, because based on how it was before and how the world is right now, there's a lot of things that has changed. I feel like people also need to accept the fact that it has, right? Okay, so just talking about like whatever you mentioned, so there's a gap between what the company actually promises and what's expected, right? In And that's such an important point. I feel like, because especially when you're describe what you're describing, when you relate it to Gen Zs, who tend to place a lot of value when it comes on authenticity and quickly notice when this gap is actually present. Um, so it makes me curious a little bit about how companies actually try to close this, because a lot of organizations tend to heavily invest on all of these activities, right? Engagement activities that sort of bring life to the culture. So they have quiz nights, outings, etc., etc. The list goes on. And some of these companies who actually care about their people, these events are actually pretty genuine. However, there are also companies who just do it, I would say, like just surface level and just for sort of the sake of doing it. Yeah. So, in your point of view, what exactly separates this meaningful engagement and also from this temporary sort of sake of it all, temporary excitement?
So, Hira, since you mentioned about the culture of the organization, let me tell this as well. Now, when it comes to culture, I don't see it as a good to have thing nowadays. Like, it is a must when it comes to organizations, and it plays a vital role in employee value proposition. And culture is, it has to be transparent and it will build on trust. And leadership plays a vital role here when it comes to culture. And as you mentioned, when it comes to employee engagement activities or wellness initiatives, all these are part of the culture. We have to, I mean, consider it as a part of the culture. And I personally believe that all these engagement activities have a huge impact and create a kind of a positive value when it comes to these activities, because surface level someone might say that these create some sort of a temporary excitement, but when you look into the facts you can see that it has a, because it will create, it will connect the organization and employees, because that's what culture does now. It's the live wire where you connect the organization and employees. Similarly, when it comes to employee engagement activities, that's where you connect the organization and employees, because just imagine when you have singing competitions or quiz programs or any sort of a employee engagement activity, when it comes to talent competitions, say now if there is a serious finance manager, all of a sudden becomes a great singer. And sometimes a very shy employee sometimes will become a quiz champion. And that gives them a kind of a recognition where you won't see that in boardrooms or official presentations. Because when you ask them to interact with cross-functional teams for this sort of engagement activities, they will interact in a totally different way. It's not official because you are playing something, I mean, other than your designated role. I understand that even with these, you have to have a proper culture where you have a proper, I mean, leadership setup, plus employees should perform, all that should be there. But other than that, this gives the, this will connect and people will perceive the organization as human sort of a thing. Like all the time they're serious with the organization, but you get a chance to showcase your hidden talents. So that's the beauty of having these sort of programs. And most important thing is these should be done with the blessings of the top management. If not, people will not see, I mean, take this as serious initiatives. I'll give you one example. In our organization, whatever the employee engagement activities that we do, our chairman leads all these projects, even the group CEO. And staff, they know that it comes from the top. And whatever the recognition that they get, they value it a lot. End of the day, people will remember how organizations made you feel.
That's true. Completely. I agree with that. Okay, thank you so much for that answer. So we've been talking about people and culture, all of this for the past I don't know how many minutes. So let's just shift gears a little bit and we'll focus on what everyone has been recently talking about, which is AI, right? So this is a force, AI and technology, that has been reshaping the whole employee experience right now. Yeah, this is actually a very common debate. However, do you believe technology is mainly replacing people or reshaping them? And what should organizations be doing right now in order to help employees adapt to this change rather than repel it?
Well, I believe that technology and AI reshaping and augmenting jobs rather than replacing jobs. And what I see is the competitive advantage is not with having AI or technology. It's with people, like you are, to have capable people who will wisely use AI or technology. If not, I mean, that's a real differentiator. People, I mean, they are the differentiator of this thing. Because, I mean, in time to come, sometimes even the other organization, they will have access to these commonly used AI or technological aspects of it, and they will also use it. So that I don't think that you can see whether there is a real competitive advantage there. And I think organizations should invest on grooming staff members to face these challenges, to use AI wisely and to day-to-day work or some future work that they have. And most of the time what happens is sometimes employees feel that, okay, definitely there will be some other jobs will be replaced and there will be some new jobs as well. But if people feel like, okay, my job will be replaced, what am I to do and all that, that is not accepted. Organizations should invest on these things and equip all the employees to work with AI. That is very important. And there are certain things like now when it comes to technological skills, we need to have. Then soft skills, or we call it as power skills, we have to have. But when it comes to deep skills like coaching, mentoring, critical business, I mean, problem solving, those type of things, it's hard to automate or replicate. So you will, I mean, you need human intervention there. So organizations need to understand this and groom the staff to face these challenges. That's how I see this issue.
Okay, amazing. So like you mentioned, so if roles are changing quite fast when it comes to adapting different skill sets and whatnot, and today's world is also very fast paced, right? So it sort of makes one wonder whether they actually notice how we evaluate people and how organizations have actually kept up with it. Because when it comes to, like, for example, just take back then, when it comes to traditional performance reviews, they tend to start feeling outdated right now to a certain extent in many workplaces, I would say. So, in your opinion, what does a healthy modern performance culture look like today?
I don't think that the traditional HR or the performance systems are outdated, completely outdated. No, we have to have traditional HR, I mean, performance appraisal systems. But as you mentioned, yes, it's under pressure because now the way we work is totally, I mean, it has got changed. So there are some changes when it comes to expectations, employee expectations. But now, for the last couple of years or so far, we have been used to three cycles mainly, like goal setting, then biannual or mid-year quarterly reviews, then annual assessments. I feel that we have to have a proper system. We cannot say that no, we should remove this thing, because then what will happen is a lot of biasness and people don't know what to do, and we won't be able to see a kind of a performance-based culture there. So we have to have those. But along with this, what we have to consider is now the younger generation. Because this is a backward-looking sort of evaluation. No? But when it comes to younger generation, what they want is real-time feedback and on-time appreciation, and they want deeper sort of conversations about their future. They can't wait for the mid-year review or the annual review, because most of the time what happens is bosses or immediate supervisors, they don't have time to speak to even their subordinates. So that matters a lot, because younger generation, they value feedback. I mean, that's their first priority. So that's why I say that we have to have the systems there. Along with that, you have to practice certain things. Like now today, I have seen some of the companies, what they do is immediate supervisors, they'll be evaluators, plus they'll do the coaching part of it as well. They will, I mean, speak to the subordinates and on and off and check with them whether they are happy about the job and whether they have any issues. All that has to be done, and deeper conversations about their future, plus feedback. That is very important. You don't have to wait till the mid-year review or till the annual assessment to give them feedback. So these will lead to a kind of a agile performance system, like where you combine the traditional practices with modern, requirements that you need to have to, evaluate your staff members and help them to grow.
Exactly. And it reflects on the organization as well at the end of the day. Okay. I think it has been quite a rich conversation so far. So before I let you go, just to end with something that sort of brings everything together. So if you could leave one message for leaders listening today about what it truly takes to make people thrive, and while also creating lasting value for the organization, what would it be?
My simple message would be like change the way you look at talent.
Okay.
That is important because nowadays I think leadership shapes the culture every day. People will observe leaders more than they listen to policies, because some of the time what happens is organizations think that people will see the culture through the policies, posters or whatever they have, but it's not the case. What happens is employees will experience the culture through immediate supervisors and the decisions they make, leaders how they behave. So that is how they perceive the culture. And the other aspect is like you will have to groom your staff members, like not for today's work only, for future challenges as well. And I personally believe that leaders should invest on understanding how employees think about the organization and try to connect them with the organization. That is very important. You can have fancy policies to everything, but if you don't have that emotional connect with the employees, they will, that's why we say that sometimes employees leave the cultures, poor cultures, not the organizations. And um, when it comes to leadership, they have to be flexible with the staff members as well. And now sometimes what happens is leaders, try to differentiate organizational development plus employee development. These are not two competing priorities. These are inseparable. You will have to invest on these. Like you invest on financial capital, you will have to invest on human capital as well, because that will grow and give you a lot of results in the future. So that's how I see leaders. Of course, they will have to, because anyway, younger generations, they will, always observe what leaders do, because they know that leaders will shape their future when it comes to end of the day, because those decisions matters a lot. So that's how they get connected to the organization.
This has been genuinely a really nice conversation to have. And I'm pretty sure whoever who listens to this as well has things that they would look back at and replay as well. So thank you so much for being so open about it. I really appreciate that. And for everyone listening, if there is one thing here that sort of made you rethink how to hire, how to work with people, and how to maybe even just show up at work, I think there's something that you need to do about that, because what else are you supposed to do, right? So take care of your people, take care of yourself, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much.